will be the Talia and Lee Sin band. We are going to see the same sides played by these teams.
Yep, so ESC still going to be on red. GP banned out by SBENU. We'll see if the Shen is going to make the list after this.
I think you do just have to ban it out. And just, nope, they're going to ban Varus. So same bans. It's tough, though, because you don't want to give Varus to Tempt. You don't want to give Gangplank to Crazy, especially since Soul doesn't really seem to play it.
I mean, they can always first pick the Shen for themselves.
I think you have to. Problem is that Crazy will play Echo under those circumstances, one would assume. So first picking the Shen may not be viable. I think you first pick Rek'Sai. That's what they're going to do. All
right.
And you do need to take that away from Ares. He doesn't have a big champion pool. He never has. Probably just play Gragas, though.
Well, they go ahead and get that.
Shen Gragas or Vlad Gragas or Vlad Shen should be the picks here, one would assume, from ESC. You do have to be a bit careful about the Shen just because there is still the possibility of a Trundle coming in from SBENU in the 1v1, and Soul probably do fine on that one. So they may just take the Jhin again in spite of the fact that Nuclear hasn't been putting an emphasis on it lately.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same exact draft that we saw coming in game one, first round for ESC. So looks like this might just be the snatch up. Could hold off on this, but they will go ahead and in fact lock that in. So Vladimir and the Jhin coming in. So Loken having some decent snipes coming out in that one, missing a couple of the shots here and there. But overall, a good performance by him to bounce back from a decently early deficit that he's put in. Gonna move away from the Ashe this time for Nuclear. Looks like he'll opt in for the Sivir.
Yeah, going for the double speed boost this time with the Sivir and the Karma. See where Lehens wants to take this. It's Sassin in the mid lane yet again. But Sassin, yeah, it's a good matchup for the Karma versus the Vladimir in the first 9-10 levels of the game.
Could be moved around a little bit though, but now Key having a decently successful game on the Bard. Some good Tempered Fates lined up, helping to get some hedges, getting that early kill on the Flawless in the mid-river side of the map.
It should be
pretty strong, so could just see that one coming back out for him.
Oh, interesting. Not going to go for the Gragas, going to go for the Hecarim instead.
Okay.
I would have assumed it would be Gragas and Bard here, but again, I don't know what Ares has been playing because we have seen 0 games of him this summer.
Well, given the success that Hecarim has had, he can be pretty damn certain that he has played this one out, whether it's in solo queue or in the scrims for ESC, so they will lock that one in alongside the Bard. So yet again, last pick going to be coming through from the top lane. So Crazy, he'll get his pick at the litter. And we'll find out now what his matchup's going to be. We can see the hover over that Blitzcrank was something that Lehens did play once in the Challenger Series and did find a win with it.
Double speed boost with the Blitzcrank does create some potentially powerful picks, but it is really all in. If you screw that up, all your win conditions go away, basically.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Snowflower play it once as well. Didn't have a whole lot of success with that pick.
It's such a binary pick. It's very predictable. You can only play pick comps with it. They are going to take the safety of the Echo in the top lane and potentially... Now, Malzahar is going to be the much better choice.
Yeah.
Poppy again!
Okay. Well, Soul just doesn't feel comfortable with Echo, I guess, for some reason. So he's going to go back to this.
They're just going to play Shen again. They're just going to play Shen, and now SBENU doesn't even have a Trundle to deal with the Shen in the late game. This is a really questionable draft from SBENU here, taking away the Karma, but the problem, and they get the Malzahar, which is a great matchup into the Vladimir, but again, they're in a sort of need to win lane, win game, which is possible this time because they so far have winning lanes absolutely everywhere. But the Poppy will be counterpicked most likely.
Yeah. We keep seeing this really long Darius hover.
Oh no, please don't play Swain.
Oh boy. Yeah, they're going to do it. All right, so there's a hell of a lot of AP on the side of ESC now, what with the Bard, the Vladimir, and the Swain coming in. So we will, in fact, see this. And this could actually be a flexer, having the Vladimir sit in top right now with Swain in mid.
That would be an interesting matchup into the Poppy. Certainly would be very harass-heavy for Crazy.
I mean, I can see this with the Swain. You try to lock up with the Never Move. You know, pop the passive, throw out the bird, and then just try to lock them down and come in with the gank with a Hecarim. Perhaps, but I mean, they still have 20 seconds. They could swap this
Also, if you
soon.
do swap into bird form while he's using the ultimate, at least you're going to get some sustain through the nether grasp.
Yeah.
So I think there is a logic here to using the Swain.
All right, well, this actually will be locked into the mid side. So Swain in mid, not a pick that we've seen in any regard really in a while.
Yeah,
but even then, it was always in the top lane.
ESC does have a history of flexing the Swain. Both Crazy and Tempt have 2 games on the season each on Swain, so it's not totally unusual for ESC, and so they switched this around. That was actually quite clever from ESC. We'll have to see how this matchup goes. Obviously, Malzahar Swain, not a matchup that we see very often, but seems like Swain should have a better time compared to the Vladimir. And they try and actually just swap out into more stronger lanes so they can get Ares some farm in the early game and not have him totally starved.
All right, well, it's a nice little gambit being set up here by ESC. We're going to find out if it'll pay off as they try to close out this set cleanly over SBENU and send them into the losers match. We'll see if they're able to do so, or if SBENU can make it a 1-1 and take us to a game 3. Let's go ahead and get right onto the rift. All right, here we go. Another Cloud Drake going to be kicking things off for us. See if we end up with 3 of them again, or if we'll have some differentiation.
Now, normally, I'm a notorious hater of Swain Vladimir compositions.
Are you? Are you really?
I am very much so, but I actually don't mind this one. Yeah, they're going to have some issues.
I was with you for that cast,
yes,
by the
you
way.
were.
I remember.
The SKT Rocks cast game, the first best of 3 of this last season, where Rocks decided they wanted to be kited forever, but there is no Ezreal and Anivia on the side of SBENU, but there is the speed boost from Sivir and Karma. However, they have triple Ghost, and they have a Hecarim for some hard engage, and most crucially, they also have the Bard ultimate. So if you can get that Bard ultimate in, pop a bunch of Ghosts, and close the distance, then you're going to be in good shape to try and engage here. It is execution heavy from ESC, that's for sure. They will have to play it well, but they did a good job of engaging in the last game.
Well, take a look at this build coming out from Soul. Not going to be going for the Corrupting Potion this time around, opting into that triple Rejuve bead. Not sure how well that's going to work for you with the Poppy, because the, seem not really something that you want to opt into.
Yes. We saw that about halfway through the season. It was on Trundles to build into Tiamat Ohmwrecker.
Yeah.
And
piloted by ADD.
Yep. But Tiamat Ohmwrecker probably not going to be your build path onto Poppy.
Ohmwrecker maybe, but the Tiamat definitely wouldn't be that good of a pickup. So
they do have a good composition for diving turrets, again with the speed and the Malzahar and the Poppy and the Rek'Sai, so very good dive. So Ohmwrecker is not entirely out of the question.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where he wants to go with that. I'm going to bet that if he doesn't go for the Ohmwrecker, these are just going to be sold off as time goes on. We'll have to see Soul not having a very good game to start things off. Just didn't really contribute at all. Didn't have any big ultimates at any point in time. So we'll see if he can turn things around here in game 2 and try to help SBENU get a bit of a lead. Flawless looking like he wants to go for an invade, prompt up, so we'll be able to take that one away. But he's just looking for the blue buff, so he's going to opt for the Scuttle Crab instead by the looks of things. But you can see already Soul taking a hell of a lot of damage, has to use that potion, try to regen up as much as possible, but Crazy is just going to continue pushing forward and laying on the damage. Has the boot so he can stay on top of her as best as he possibly can.
There's basically nothing Poppy can do in this matchup. It's going to be constant regeneration with the range on the Vladimir. Decided not to play the Echo, which also could put down a lot of that harass, but there we go. Ares using the red buff burn to finish it off, and he's actually going over to the blue right now.
He's going to be found out as Flawless comes around the side, so Flawless not opting into that invasion in the bottom.
Yeah, they have so much pressure.
Back over, but yeah, with Crazy here as well, they should just be able to hand this one over.
Look at Saucin, he's already chunked out in the mid lane, so creative actually by ESC, getting the red side for the second game in a row, and then swapping around with the Swain and Vladimir to get preferential matchups. They sort of baited out the Malzahar pick, thinking that Sasson was thinking, well, I'm going to have a great lane matchup into the Vlad, but with the Poppy pick again, it was pretty easy just to make that adjustment. And I have to assume this would have also happened if SBENU had picked the Shen. More than likely the same outcome.
Yeah, very possible. But, I mean, Temps coming out here with this newer pick, I guess we could say, for the current state of the meta. And could be something that we see picked up more and more around, you know, as we do have the Worlds qualifiers coming up, with Malzahar being such a priority mid lane pick. Could see Swain make a return as a bit of a counter. Loken going to be taken low. They're going to go for the dive. That's going to be the first one picked up as Hens is able to find it, but now Flawless locked up. Minions not going to be taking this one. Flawless takes one hit, but overall will be able to make it out alive. So SBENU, despite the shortcomings early on as far as the CS and the matchups go, they're able to find a first blood, and Flawless puts down pressure finally.
Yeah, and that's just such a powerful matchup. The Sivir Karma, tons of poke in the early stages of the game. They chunked out Loken early on. Loken didn't even have a chance to use his flash right there, and he's down about 2 minion waves at the moment, so good job so far by SBENU, capitalizing on their advantages. But in spite of that, ESC does have such a huge amount of late game power. One death, as long as they don't lose the first turret, not going to be the end of the world for them. Ares needs some time to farm up here, and with how the mid lane matchup is going, they should be feeling pretty confident. Basically, they don't need Loken and Key to get an item advantage. All they need is for Loken and Key to initiate, and they're going to be able to do that with Curtain Call, Deadly Flourish, and the Tempered Fate, no matter how much farm they have. Because if those things come in and Vladimir and Swain and Hecarim close the gap, they will provide more than enough damage to kill the members of SBENU.
Yeah, it's going to put Loken in a bit of a rough spot, though. Caulfield's Warhammer for nuclear compared to just a double longsword, so not able to find that serrated dirt yet, which could affect his back timing. So we'll see how he's going to use this as he clears out the wave, tries to keep at least within 10 CS of nuclear. Soul, Spectre's Cowl completed up here in the top lane, going to help him mitigate a bunch of damage, but Crazy hasn't gone back yet. So you can be damn sure he's going to have a lot of power when he returns.
Yeah, he's just been harassing away on that top side, and yeah, we'll see where he chooses to go with this build, if he's going to go for Protobell first.
I mean, honestly, going up against the Poppy, you don't have to worry about too much damage output. So
yeah.
Could still opt into the Spirit Visage, perfectly viable item given his passive, but could just look to go way more aggressive, get that Protobell first and foremost, and then opt into the more defensive items. So we'll see. Looks like Soul might be recalling again. Yeah, he's going to complete that one.
He just wants boots. Nope,
A
another Ruby Crystal. All right. That's a bit interesting, but it's like he was afraid because of all the wards. Now, all his wards expired on the top side, and Flawless was on the bottom side of the map, so he may have just not wanted to stick around, said, okay, I'll catch the wave of my turret instead because I don't have the vision, and I'm scared now. Ares is level 6. It's that time in the game.
Still might lose a couple of those minions, but overall it's not going to be too detrimental, but Crazy has a few up on him. 9 CS at the moment. Ares working away at this blue buff. Lahen's pushing in, but Ares should be able to take this one away relatively easily with Dev now in tow. So just be a handoff here for this. Oh, Ares actually gets it.
Awkward.
Oh boy.
Tried to get that handoff. Didn't quite work.
Well, Tempt is gonna be a little upset if that comes in with half mana, and now he's gonna go back with it as well.
Yeah,
I mean, this will help out Ares. This is the worst outcome.
Just a little bit of burn there. I mean,
But,
it's just unlucky on the handoff. He does have Catalyst, so it's not like he will be totally without any kind of regeneration on his mana pool.
I mean, it's okay, Ares. At least you didn't lose a Baron to 2 HP.
That was incredibly sad.
I can't even imagine how Score felt in that moment. I would have probably wanted to just melt into my chair.
Well, I actually think KT would have lost that game, even if they had gotten that Baron, just because The scaling from the Tigers was so good, and they just had so much wave clear on that composition. Even if KT had gotten the Baron buff, I think it was unlikely they were going to be able to close it.
But it would have been a hell of a lot more difficult for Rox if they had.
That's very true.
So, who knows? Either way, that was a heartbreaker. So this is more of just an irritating occurrence here for 10-Bit. But overall, he'll be all right. Has that Catalyst of the Aeons for the Rod as quickly as he can. And has a nice CS lead over top of Sauce. Has been maintaining this for the entirety of the game so far. 20 CS up just about. So he's in a pretty good spot. Saucin having to opt into the double Doran's ring, and then has a Sapphire Crystal in the inventory.
Pretty slow early
Nobody's
game.
Gonna be going for him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Pretty slow early game here, and that means pretty good things for ESC as they just slowly work their way into a position of power in this game. Get the Vladimir, the Hecarim, and the Swain into a nice late game.
Yeah.
And Loken and Kiev bounced back. They're only about 15 CS down. You see about 300 gold difference. That's not too bad considering they did give up the first blood.
Yeah, I mean the majority of the gold differential right now is just that first blood bonus that came through for SBENU.
It's pretty much all this, the 300. So, and it's been closing because of how particularly the mid lane has been going.
Yeah, 20 CS up. I mean Ares is a little bit further behind Flawless as well, so it's gonna be rough. But speaking of Flawless, gonna be looking for a repeat dive. On the bottom side, they're going to invest the teleport as well. Loken using the heal and the flash. He's going to get taken down. Flawless finds a kill. The pop-up with the Keeper's Verdict now from Soul onto Key. He can't make it through that portal. And now Ares is stuck underneath the tower with 4 members of SBENU with him in their sights. They're going to go ahead and use the Onslaught of Shadows, trying to trade back some damage. Flawless taking these turn shots. Has to flash away. Looks like Ares will stay alive for the time being. Has to be careful. Soul could try to line up and stun into the wall. But looks like Ares is going to go ahead back off, and that's going to be the first tower gold going over to SBENU as well. So 3 kills up, and now suddenly that leads to 2.3 thousand.
So Soul did a really good job. They play around the very low cooldown timer on Vladimir, so they know there will be no response in the top side from Crazy on this play. There's just a small amount of time before that TP comes back up. Have that advantage, push it in with the Sivir to go ahead and take the 4 versus 2. Ares shows up just a little bit late, clears out the wave. They play a little bit too aggressively considering that he still has the Onslaught of Shadows available. Flawless forced to burn his flash, but overall, a couple good kills over in the first turret of the game, so some bonus gold there, and now it's a nice 2K gold lead for SBENU. Making the plays around the weaker part of the map here, which is Loken, who had already died, and just a good use of TP as well as enemy TP timers from SBENU to make sure that they would have that advantage. It's actually going to be a GLP in the mid lane and not a Rod of Ages.
I'm going for that. I mean, we saw this for the first time with Fly's Aurelion Soul in the final.
It's just one more tool to help them engage, right?
Yeah.
It does get, I believe, a 65% slow for half a second when you use that ability, so just one more thing to keep this very mobile composition of SBENU in place long enough to close the gap.
I mean, that's just enough time to really get that never move down onto somebody and ensure that snare. So we'll be opting into that. So our second GLP coming in now.
Yeah, the price though for that play was Crazy actually really expanding his CS gap.
Boy, Saucin thinking a lot. It's going to go ahead, throw down the Nether Grasp on the Tempt, who flashes for it. It's going to try to finish him off, and he's able to get it with the ultimate, but now 3 members stalking him down the river. He's going to regen up a little bit, but Crazy, no way of shielding, no way of assisting him. It will just be a trade back on the mid laners. 1-1 on the board now. ESC are able to pick up a kill, but they're still down by 2,000 gold.
And that's the problem with the Nether.
1,000 gold now.
Yeah, 1,000 gold now as Loken was left up in the top side, but that's the problem with using the Malzahar into the Swain, is that when you use that Nether Grasp, basically you're fighting through all the regeneration and consistently taking damage from the Swain ultimate.
Can he not see that pink?
No, I think he just doesn't want to contest it right now because he can't see. He didn't know where Sivir was.
I mean, he was recalling on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a nice hidden feature. Soul, though, going to run his way out, but Onslaught of Shadows, untargetable as Ares. He'll get stunned to the wall, take some of these tower shots. He'll zip his way out, but Crazy is there for the follow-up. One last transfusion. He'll get it. There it is, but now he's going low. Has to try to get out of here alive. One more hit would have done it, but the transfusion's coming through. He's keeping himself healthy. Flawless is still stalking here. The Prey Seeker not going to connect. He's going to have to peel back, and ESC, they put a second kill on the board. Now just 1,000 gold separating.
Yeah, Crimson Rush coming up at the right time for Crazy. So able to get a little bit of healing done, extra healing done, and that'll give him enough HP to dissuade the Prey Seeker kill.
Tempt. He gets the blue buff this time.
He got it. He did it.
All right, he's 1 for 2. He's got a 50% blue buff rate at the moment, and he is so very comfortable in this mid. It's going to be looking to push onto about a 30 CS lead. After this next wave, we can see Saucin roaming over, going to be looking for his own blue buff. With the Hens up in this top, alongside Nuclear. They don't have a tower, so they're going to go ahead and peel back. And Loken still down by about 16, but the lead hasn't been growing for Nuclear, which is like the most crucial thing for ESC.
Yeah, and it has been growing in the mid and the top side for the most part, especially that top lane. Because of the commitment to that TP, it was Crazy getting a nice CS advantage, and he is really starting to get rolling here.
Yeah, 34th CS up now, looking like he's got that Fiendish Codex coming in, so could just be something like the Zonia's Hourglass if he wants to go super defensive, be able to dive into the back line, keep himself alive, get that health back off of the Hemo playing. But he is in a really good spot right now, and Soul still holding on to these rejuve beats, has a full inventory, as he just has a Spirit Visage and the Boots of Swiftness. So, awkward spot for the Poppy. Still not sure where he's going to go with his build.
No, he's having a hard time finding a place to safely farm it. Not too much damage yet down onto this bottom turret. They went for the kill and got low, so they weren't able to convert it into another objective. Ares is here.
Yeah, Pink's coming out. So they'll see the members of SBENU who are grouping up potentially for that Rift Herald, but Ward in the back of the pit. Going to dissuade that one. And Crazy is just going to keep Soul relegated underneath of this tower for the time being. So ESC still keeping things close. It's going to be the Hens having to flash away, but look at the damage from Ares, just melts him out immediately, and Tempt is able to scoop up the killing blow, putting another one on the board for himself. Now 4-3 and just 400 gold separating. ESC, they are climbing their way back into the driver's seat of this game.
Yeah, and they have that scaling advantage too. So double ghost used there from Tempt and Ares to make the play in the mid lane. Combination of the GLP and the Sheen, giving a huge amount of burst damage onto the Karma. Especially Karma support, very squishy at this point in time. Not a lot of AP to build up the shield. Flawless will take this time to go ahead and solo out the Drake, so SBENU gets their first dragon of the series.
It's going to be a mountain one to follow. So our first mountain of the series, but we'll just take a look at Lehen's getting absolutely bonked on the head.
That's so hard to get away from. Two big zoning tools used right there in the Never Move and the Tempered Fate. He didn't have anywhere to go, caught out in the river.
Yeah. Well, that is Ares just coming online with his Hecarim, has the Stinger completed just now, so is just a couple hundred away from having that Trinity Force done. And hasn't died yet, picked up 2 of the assists off of the 3 kills that have come through for ESC so far, so he is still in a very nice spot on this Hecarim, not having the issues of being overly squishy at the moment, because members of SBENU just can't get to a point where they can actually kill him.
Guys just sitting here in the standard lane, so you did see SBENU try and reverse the pressure just a little bit to try and get down another tower, but not able to actually do that, as Loken and Key have been holding their own with the help of Ares, is constantly threatening to counter gank and getting down pink wards in the top side of the map. Crazy doing just fine here, slowly chipping away at the bottom tower. Now it's down to under 50% HP, so he's doing work on it pretty quickly.
Yeah, just not a whole lot that Soul can do. Limited wave clear available to him as a Poppy, and Crazy, just, even if he takes all those tower shots, just keep healing right back up.
This matchup is Pretty miserable for Poppy right now. Just,
Pretty miserable to watch.
especially now max rank in Q is constant harass. Dawson gets nailed. That laser bird doing quite a bit.
Burned down to half HP, so rough stuff here. Semju is just wildly ahead. Now has that needlessly large rod, so could be looking for the Rylai's, could be looking to just go absolutely ham and pump out as much damage as possible. My guess would be on the Rylai's, so he gets a little bit more tankiness in since he didn't opt into that Rod of Ages as we first anticipated before the GLP had come out. But crazy as well. He is backed so few times in this game. He is still just sitting on the Proto Belt.
He's got a ton of money.
The Phoenix Codex. I wonder how many thousands of gold he has at the moment, because it's got to be several K.
It's just so annoying, though. Like, how do you deal with this? And basically, because Ares hasn't even been here either. Ares has just been hovering in the top side of the map, but Flawless hasn't come down to gank. He's just trying to help the Sivir more so than anything else, because the top and the mid lanes have gone so poorly for SBENU this game that he's just trying to keep his lanes that are ahead more ahead and try and snowball off of the Sivir wave clear and get some more turrets, but
Poor soul. This is not a damn
there's
thing.
nothing he can do. Now, they are going to trade for it at least.
Oh, here we go, Seaweed pull. Now here comes Ares. He's going to get stunned immediately, but that's going to be the Hemo Plague coming down, and Soul is just going to get melted out. Ares coming away with the kill. ESC now tying things up 4-4, and they have a gold lead finally for themselves of just about 400. Keep a split going on to that tier 2 at bottom, but looks like they're going to go ahead and peel back. We'll see just how many items Crazy is able to pick up here, as he has not recalled in quite some time. Looks like the Sonya is completed, and now Ares, way too far forward, gets caught out in the Raptor pit by Flawless in the hands, and he goes down.
I have
So,
no
overextension
idea
by him.
why you would counter jungle right there when your top laner had just recalled. You have no backup in the enemy jungle. And your Swain is playing towards the top side of the mid lane. Your Jhin is all the way there at your tier 2 in the top. It's really sloppy. That's not a time you can successfully counter jungle. Easy, easy, easy collapse from SBENU. And they get the free kill.
Yeah. That was questionable to say the least. So they'll give that one up, and gold lead swings right back in to SBENU's favor very slightly, but ESC, they're the ones that have been making those proactive plays and looking like the ones that might just be able to close out this game as we keep moving forward. So far, the items leave a lot to be desired on the side of SBENU. Just the Spirit Visage, the Iceborne Gauntlet getting ready to come through from Soul, but still wildly behind Crazy, who has now farmed up a 50 CS lead. And you can see jumping forward with the Proto Belt, completely fearless, trying to layer as much damage down onto that Poppy as he possibly can. He'll work it out at about 50% HP. Now Ares pushing forward, finds Flawless and Nuclear, who will pop on the hunt, so they'll go ahead and get the ultimate out of him. Means that it won't be available for this dragon that spawns in about 45 seconds. Soul's going to use Keeper Sword, trying to get on the Crazy. He's going to use the Zonias. Stop himself from getting silenced. Temp coming over, going to zone them off with the bird. Flawless goes in. Going to try to get in onto the Swain. But just can't follow up with too much else. Temp's still going to be healthy with the help from that ultimate. So he'll be perfectly fine to rotate back into this mid and keep applying pressure onto that tier 1.
Malzahar walked the long way around into the lane. A lot of damage on this turret, so it looks like it will be just a transition over into Mountain Drake. Instead of a concerted push here, and there you go. GLP used just for a little bit of wave clear to set this one up. Jhin already pushed in the bottom side, and we're going to see people start to assemble around here at the Drake, but kind of an awkward recall from Tempt right now. Yeah, Flawless can't do this by himself.
Yeah, Flawless coming over, now going to be stuck in the pit, waiting for that tunnel to try to come back up. They're going to fear him out and away from it, standing on top of it. He's going to go low, and Loken's able to find him with a Duskblade. And now that should be the Mountain Drake going over to ESC. So Flawless just way too greedy, thinking that he could solo that one out.
That was just desperation right there.
Yeah.
He really felt like he had to take that Drake and attempt to sneak it, but good commitment there from ESC. They are not afraid to use the Onslaught of Shadows onto a single target, prevents him from getting back into his tunnel, and he really had no chance, never even got close enough to the wall to flash over.
So another one, 5-5. But a 1,000 gold lead for ESC for the first time. He walks forward, looking a little bit of vision down, finds Soul though, so he has to peel back. Loken still suffering as far as the CS goes compared to Nuclear, but has at least a kill. So it's helping him out a little bit. But Nuclear still having a deathless game so far, much better on the CS numbers. He's about 50 ahead. But overall, SBENU started off looking pretty strong. Good dives into the bottom lane, but they just haven't been able to make much happen since then.
Well, I think the draft was just clever from ESC. They played Hide the Vladimir, and it was very successful. They got two very powerful matchups. But again, this Poppy is the real question mark here. It's certainly not a meta pick. Foregoing the Echo, which has been available this entire series, neither team taking it. And ESC just reading SBENU's draft, able to get some good counter picks and flex picks with the red side 2 games in a row. And Crazy Attempt really doing a good work of continuously putting on pressure, especially Crazy, who's been looking really good this series.
Yeah, he has been. It's a big transition compared to the regular split temp, though, getting locked up and doesn't even have a chance to try to survive with the ultimate or even flash away. He gets taken out. Nuclear finds the kill. A crucial pickup here for SBENU. Need to keep that rolling.
Yeah, he doesn't have any armor. He decided not to go for his Zhonya's Hourglass.
Yeah, with the
went for the Rylai's instead. So when Nuclear is the one who is fed on SBENU and already has quite a bit of damage, does make it challenging to stay alive, even if you are A-OK through the Malzahar ultimate to attack damage. That was enough work there during the suppression.
Yeah, now he has a blasting wand, so I'm not sure which direction he wants to go with this. I don't think it'll be a death cap. Could be the Void Staff coming out, or perhaps something like the Leandri's Torment. But still no sign of that Zhonya's Hourglass, no Seeker's Arm Guard coming out, no Fiendish Codex, so who knows when we'll see that one, but you have to expect that Temp should need to build that very soon.
Yeah, just gonna reset here for a little bit. No Drake to fight over, and again, ESC just happy to delay this game on as long as they can. No real impetus or rush for them to finish.
Third item, Spirit Message here for Crazy, so really shuffling around the build path for that Vladimir, but going up against this Poppy where he still has a monumental lead. Hasn't needed to, really build that item that would otherwise be considered a staple for Vlad.
It's a pretty substantial lead, 1,300 gold between Crazy and Soul at the moment. Pretty comparable between Nuclear and Loken.
Void Rush back in here for Flawless, coming in on top of Temp to this mid. Spot out that ward and clear it out, so Temp will be safe for the time being. Doesn't want to get collapsed on again like he just did a couple minutes ago.
Man, the AoE damage in the late game is so scary. The combination of the Hemo Plague, the Hecarim, and the Swain, amping all that AoE that already exists on the jungle and mid picks for ESC. Means that getting caught is a pretty big death sentence for SBENU.
Clear coming out of mid now from ESC. Have 4 members hovering in the area, as does SBENU as they all collapse over, so they won't be able to find any damage in onto this tier 1 mid turret. 27.5 minutes in, Baron standing. Vision control coming out from both sides, but still a ways away from anybody being able to claim that objective. Likely going to see our next fight probably around that dragon. Would be another Cloud break. Tier 1 going low in mid. SBENU trying to knock that one down. Keeper's Verdict comes through. Is able to boot away Crazy. Ares going to get rooted down by the tether from Lehens. Big burst of damage coming out from Loken. Has that Dustblade pop. They lock up the Karma. That's going to be the Hemo Plague coming down. Curtain Call opened up. They're looking for Flawless. He tries to zip away, but it's not enough. Crazy's able to take him out, and the snipe comes through from Loken as he gets rid of Soul, deleting him off the map. And now ESC going to be pushing in. Clear is still there from SBENU. Clear this one out. Crazy goes in pretty deep. Sawson's able to find a kill on the Key, however. And that's going to be ESC having to back off. So overall, a 2 for 2. The turrets stand on either side.
Yeah, big overcommitments there from both teams. First off, SBENU used the Karma and Sivir speed very early. Watch them. You have to use the on the Heims in order to dodge the Never Move and the Tempered Fate. Then they walk blind into a brush with Ares in it. They overcommit into the river. This gives Ares an opportune time just to ult in with the Onslaught of Shadows. All right, here. And that'll get the first pick as they go down. And then second one coming through. Then ESC. They need to just do some mild zoning here. Crazy ends up going a little bit too deep to try and zone them off. Sasin, not exactly. Oh, he's got killed by a Voidling. That was it right there for Key. So mistake, but inconclusive results, Achilles.
Yep, we're dead even. The only difference is the Mountain Drake, and ESC hasn't been able to really apply that power anywhere. So, might be looking for this Cloud Drake soon. Ares is in that bottom side of the river, and they do have unique vision. Throw out a Scrying Orb on the side of SBENU to spot it out and make sure no one's going for it. Now ESC looks like they're fully committed to trying to make this mid-tier 1 tower go away. As we just keep grouping up and clearing out the wards on this top side of the river.
Well, they really want to go for the Drake, but they don't have Vision and Baron right now, so ESC needs to just slowly push out the bottom side here again, make sure they get some wards in the pit, and then continuously clear the mid lane until they can actually pick up the Drake. That's their strategy, so methodically played so far by ESC. There it is.
One out. Now Soul, he's going to start up this Baron. Looks like SBENU, they might just try to pull the trigger on this one. Ares has the Ghost available, would be able to zip his way over. There's not a whole lot of damage coming out yet as they work this one down. It's just now hitting half HP.
They
Flawless
really
on the backside
don't
of the
want to
pit.
be in that pit.
They're going to go ahead, they're going to commit to this. It looks like they're going to be able to take this.
Wow.
ESC just not finding a way in, not even using the Tempered Fate from Key to try to buy time for the rest of the team to arrive. They just let the Baron go over to SBENU.
That was really bad from ESC. First off, before they started the Drake, they did not get vision onto the Baron. They didn't have any wards in the pit right there. And second off, it looked like it might be a disaster, but basically with all the AoE on ESC, it is very easy to punish that kind of Baron take from SBENU, but nobody even walked up there, nobody even got into the pit. Like you said, no Tempered Fate used, but not only that, no teleport used, no ghosts used, nothing. So it's free.
I'm really confused. And now SBENU, they're just going to keep profiting as they take down that mid-tier 1 finally.
Yeah, and the problem here is that ESC has to walk up to the wave with all of their champions to actually wave clear. Vladimir, Swain, Hecarim, they have to be in the minion wave in order to do so, which leaves them very vulnerable to poke or getting caught by another grasp.
That's about 2.6 thousand gold coming in for SBENU in their favor. Soul pushing in on the bottom side. Crazy is there to answer and try to keep them at bay. But SBENU, they can just keep bouncing back and forth between bottom and mid as the waves are pushed up. Looks like they rotate down here, but they're not able to find anything. Now they can just move over, get a little bit of damage in onto this mid turret. Ares is going to go in, try to find Sauce in. Fears him out, pushes him back, but he's going to flash out the safety curtain call opened up. TP's being channeled. Crazy arriving a bit too late. He's going to cancel that one out and continue to clear out the wave in bot. Shot does come through, catches Sauce in a little bit. They lock up Soul, hit him with the Never Move, but still a very tanky Poppy, so they'll whittle him down to a bit below half HP, about 1/3 remaining in SBENU. They're still going to be able to come in and take out this tower. Tempered Fate used onto just Soul rather than the turret.
Yeah, I definitely would have used it onto the turret right there. Your goal is to buy time right now if you're ESC, so they don't take too many objectives, but they're starting to run away with the gold lead now, SBENU. So they all move into the top side. Baron buff still about 1/3 of the way to go before it falls off, and ESC again with that poor wave clear.
Keeper's verdict used, and will boot out Loken, who still doesn't have the curtain call available. Henzo going really low, has that Hemo play coming through, and it will pop him in the end. Flawless, falling pretty far down. Soul on the run out, still has the GA up. But if they were able to pop it, they could have all surrounded him and definitely taken him out. So ESC, very hard fought, almost lose temp for that, but they hold under the tower and they're able to answer a kill onto the Karma. So a good hold on that tier 2 for them.
Yeah, really good Hemo Plague there from Crazy, actually hitting the front line mostly as they were threatening a dive, trying to get underneath the turret. ESC convincing with the flank. that they executed, and now should be it. The threat is gone. Small gold lead here for SBENU, but again, may have some issues with the scaling. Looks like Temp will be going for a death cap right now. Aries.
Okay, yeah, that's a needlessly large rod in.
Yeah, Aries' armor was a little bit delayed here as a result of buying the QSS to avoid the Malzahar in some of these team fights, but that does create problems when Nuclear is the one with the big pile of money.
And now he's getting a Sunfire Cave on top of his Cinder Hulk.
I would have gotten a Randuin. That is
well,
really
I mean,
weird.
he has the Warded Tail now, but the Bombing Cinder is still there.
All right, I don't know what he's doing. I'm going to assume that's a mistake.
Interesting. Interesting builds coming through from him, so we'll see where he wants to go for that. Because, yeah, there's just not really anything else. So maybe just looking for that extra bit of AoE tick damage.
He doesn't get it. It's a unique passive.
Yeah.
That's very odd. It just must be a mistake.
I don't know. Accidentally double-clicked, left the shop and didn't realize it. Either way, Rabbiddin's death cap is completed here for Tempt. So he's going to be a worrisome target for SBENU. Definitely going to try to lock him down. The Void Staff there for Crazy. So strong amounts of AP damage going to be coming up from the side of ESC. Saucin now the Leander's Torment completed as well as that Rylai's. He's going to be slowing up everybody and just slowly burning them down with that percentage HP. Dragon spawning in a minute. This is going to be the Elder Dragon here. So ESC definitely want to be able to pick that one up. One buff for the side of SBENU, 2 buffs for them. Overall, not going to be amplifying a whole lot, but still a takeaway. And they'll still have about a minute, 20 seconds difference before that Baron spawns, so should have enough time to go ahead and take that. See if they can find the setup for it, that is.
I like the, it's been there for a while, but I like the Executioner's calling onto Nuclear, because he's got to deal with healing from Hecarim, Vladimir, and Swain, so that is absolutely crucial if he can get a Ricochet off.
Yeah, that was like one of his first
it was smart.
Pickups, so.
It was definitely smart.
I mean, it's so cheap. There's no reason to not grab that. I mean, we saw him with the Mortal Reminder in Game 1 on the Ashe. So, not surprising that he's going to come back into this one with that. Has the Ball of Malmortius completed now. Transfers his Hex Drinker into that. And the Elder Dragon has spawned. ESC grouped up around this area. Still a minute left on Baron. So might just be looking to try to bait this one out. A Scrying Orb is thrown into the pit. So, SBENU are perfectly aware that it's not being taken at the moment. Lawless, he's going to get rooted several times, but still not a whole lot of damage coming in. A very big Rek'Sai is he. He'll be okay for the time being. ESC, this bait, trying to siphon SBENU into the river, not really going to pay off. And Crazy has to rotate down bot to answer the wave. That's going to be the on the hunt pop key, taking the magical journey over the wall.
It's a big waste.
Safety.
It's a big, big waste there.
They at least have the AoE mobility from the Karma. Speaking of which, flash away from Lehens will get him away from that Tempered Fade. Clearing out the wave in mid ESC. Still just hovering around the river, but they can't commit to the pit and try to go for a bait. Still haven't even cleared out that Scrying Orb, so SBENU just know exactly what they're doing at every time.
The vision game is also so poor from ESC that they can't really push up. They can't engage in a split push like we saw earlier with Crazy. They need to get those wards down first, and Crazy has been playing this right, but it is very passive because he doesn't want to die.
Moving right back down here. Just gonna start matching that push yet again with Soul, but Soul's at a point where I don't think he's gonna be taking too much damage from Crazy, even with the Void Staff.
All right, Cinder was sold by Aries, and he did get a Randuin, so it was a mistake, for sure.
Yeah, it was just a botch buy. And And now going to be working on that. Well, might work on the QSS. Could just place the pink ward. Oh, they're going to look for Loken. The Nethergrass comes through. They pop him up, and he is going to go down. Nuclear gets the kill. Had to use the Ghost and Flash from Sasson for that, but that is damn well worth it. As the Jhin is deleted, not going to be up for 50 more seconds. With that pick, they're going to go for the Baron.
This is still really dangerous because of all the AoE from ESC.
Yeah.
And they don't have ults right now, SBENU.
He still has the Tempered Fate. Baron going low. He's going to throw it out. Doesn't catch anybody other than Soul. It doesn't even clip the Baron. Flawless getting locked down. Ares coming over here, but he's just not nearby fast enough to try to go for a steal. And yet again, SBENU pick up a Baron buff.
They should have just gone for that, honestly. They have so much AoE that even without Loken, that is a very winnable fight, especially when the On the Hunt and Nethergrasp are down. There's not really a reason you can't go for that. Soul, he did catch the Tempered Fate with his Banshee's Veil. That's why he didn't do anything. A great pick here from SBENU, using that speed, and not even enough time there for Loken to flash out of that. So Baron goes down, but I think ESC could have taken that fight. I think you throw the 5-man Hemo Plague in there and just shove the Swain in there and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know, either way, ESC just not committing. And they're going to suffer for it as a massive gold lead starts building up here for SBENU. And now with Baron buff, they should be able to take some turrets pretty easily. Already have the tier 2 down in mid. Could be looking for that top or bottom side. If not, the inhibitor towers in mid lane. But going to start things off with this Elder Dragon. Only have the Cloud Drake, so it's not going to be amplifying a whole lot. But still, just a bit of extra damage, and they'll be able to take this uncontested. So SBENU starting to really run away with this and just get everything that they could possibly want. Looks like they're going to be grouping up inside the jungle on the bottom side of the map and looking for that tier 2. Just continue to extend this gold lead over top of ESC.
Yeah, it's not a big enough gold lead yet, though, that ESC can't win this game. Certainly, 6.5K is,
I mean,
it's a lot, but again, the damage is pretty intense from ESC.
There's been misplays by everybody, so I'm not going to count on either side winning this, but either way, that is a very dead tower. As SBENU continues to push, Soul has the wave in mid, ready to go. Crazy trying to keep it at bay as best as he can. But now grouping up, might just try to siege out onto this bottom turret. Ares does have the onslaught available. Flawless gonna go forward. Still have that Elder Dragon buff. The tether coming through. Will it find the Hecarim? No, not yet, but he's getting taken down by the Malefic Visions. A root on the Flawless from Loken. Not gonna do enough to dissuade them, and that will be the inhibitor line broken here at 41.5 minutes. Wave backed off a bit in mid. So not really primed and ready to go ahead and get shoved forward. But SBENU, they could always go ahead and work this forward, but looks like they're going to go ahead and spend some of this gold that they just earned for themselves.
Yeah, problem is, though, is that if ESC can get this inhibitor back up, which they should be able to do around the time the next Baron spawns, give or take a little bit, that is going to be enough for them because there's not really a split pusher on SBENU that's going to be able to effectively take out that inhibitor again. They don't really have that as an option. So it's going to be, relatively ineffective, honestly. It's not a whole lot to work with here. If you are SBENU, it all comes down to whether you can get the next Baron or not, and ESC still working their way up to 6 items where the gold lead really doesn't matter.
Yep. SBENU working down this last outer turret. Be able to take this. ESC, the noose is being tightened around the neck. Just trying to hold on for dear life with SBENU. They don't want to go into that loser's match without a fight. They want to take us to game 3. Giving it their all right now. ESC just faltering quite heavily compared to game 1. Had a really clean game, and then you come into this and you say, what happened?
That Baron was... The fact they didn't get a ward in there.
Both Barons.
Well, the second one I think was more understandable because I understand their reluctance, but at the same time, you do have to go for that. You can't just give it to them for free at this stage. You have to put up some sort of a fight. But really the first one where they didn't even prep it properly with a ward.
Didn't throw a Bard ultimate.
Yeah.
confusing stuff from ESC. It seems like the shot calling in this game is a bit all over the place. But now, Baron buff expired on the members of SBENU. We look at the push forward, trying to get on the Loken. They get a good amount of damage in. Keeper's Verdict to move back temp, but now the current call opening up, finding Flawless for a bit of damage. Lahan's taking one as well. Almost goes down. The fourth shot not able to connect as he flashes away.
There he still has
ult.
ult.
Slow up in on the soul, push him back, has the Guardian Angel. They will pop that one. Flawless goes in, knocks up 3 members with the Unburrow. Crazy's going in deep on the backside. Getting locked up, he's in that segment pool, has the Zonias as he comes out, gets a little bit more healing, but he's still going to go down as Nuclear takes him out. So far, it's a 1-for-1. The top leader for mid. Without Saucin, though, that consistent damage, the Leandri's damage coming out. SBENU, they're going to be looking to back off. Loken laying some of the backs. He's actually able to find Lahan's. I think he got him with the E. On the ground with the help of W, perhaps, as he moved.
I didn't see it. It was off our screen at the time.
Yeah, we'll have to see that with a replay, hopefully, here. But I'm guessing it was one of his traps.
This is a poorly conceived dive from SBENU. You don't dive into Vladimir and Swain, even if you do knock Crazy and Tempt away. They keep the dive up. Soul gets trapped there underneath the turret by the Never Move. And nice silence there on the Tempt, but he can still keep charging forward. And with the Onslaught of Shadow still up, it's easy for them to pop the Guardian Angel. Loken also has that QSS to get out of a bad situation as Saucin walks where he actually goes to the magical journey to pick up that kill, and Soul will survive at the end. But I mean, the double hammer is the only reason why SBENU was not absolutely not destroyed.
Oh, maybe he procced his Duskblade off this W.
Nope.
Oh, it's just Fire Touch.
It was just the Death Fire Touch.
Okay. So.
But the only reason why SBENU was even competitive in that fight is that they knocked back both Tempt and Crazy. If either one of them had been able to continue dealing damage under that turret, it would have been a huge win for ESC.
Yeah. I'm forgetting how long the cooldown of the Duskblade is.
2 minutes.
Yeah. For some reason I thought it was shorter than that, but that would be busted, so. Fortunately, it's not, but that was a much-needed reprieve there for Loken to snatch that kill at the very end of the fight. 10-10 on the board, but still a massive gold swing for SBENU as they're currently 8,000 up. Baron getting ready to respawn. There it is. Elder Dragon still going to be a ways away.
The inhibitor's going to be coming back up soon.
ESC, they're going to they need to do something here. They still have not gotten this tier 1 tower. There it is. Took 46.5 minutes to knock it down. That's their 3rd tower to the 7 that SBENU have been able to take.
Yeah, that said though, it's still all about the 6-item game, and really almost all of the gold Achilleos is on Nuclear. That's like the big difference here. So if Nuclear dies, the fight goes real bad for SBENU. He's been doing a good job of staying alive. He does have a Maw, so he is a bit less vulnerable to some of the damage from the Vladimir.
Oh boy, well, you can see the startup coming through now.
No, they can't do
SBENU,
this.
yeah, they're not going to commit quite yet. They're going to go ahead and heal back. Ares pinching around from the side.
I mean, inhibitor's back up, and they have TP on Crazy, so he can go back at any time.
Wave is still there, so they might just have to go clear that out. Looks like Crazy is running down. Meanwhile, SBENU just going to look to opt to push into the top lane. Get that wave moving, create some added pressure, and then rotate back down to this Baron. Ares will get a clear out on that,
man.
but look at this inhibitor. The cannon minions are there.
That was so sloppy. Crazy should have recalled earlier. There's no excuse for that one. They had all the time in the world to clear out that wave.
Yeah, so now they lose the inhib. There's going to be that much more risk. He still has the TP up. Baron's down to half HP. Just look at the minions from Saucin helping work it down, but the reset will come through. It'll heal back up. And it looks like SBENU, they might just opt to go right back into this top lane and continue the push. And there's nothing that ESC can really do outside of just try to respond to SBENU fast enough. With the fast track onto this turret, the recall still coming through from Loken and Key. They should be able to melt out this tower, and they will be able to take it.
Big flank gonna come through though.
Yeah, they're spotted out by the ward.
Where's Temper's
Fate?
Fate?
On that, Temper's Fate comes out. It's only going to find Flawless. Keeper's Verdict charged up. Going to be looking for Tempt. Might just have to cancel this, and he does so. He'll get the CD refund in. But a big root comes down on the Flawless, and Soul gets a stun on the Crazy, who's being ticked down by the Malefic Visions. They have to try to kite back, but now they find Flawless. They're going to pop the Guardian Angel Soul. The Hemo plate coming through. Ares goes in. Still has the Onslaught of Shadows. Has to use it to exit. Flawless gets rooted down by Loken on the backside, but there's just no one close enough to finalize the kill. No one's gonna die. Both junglers go dangerously low, but SBENU, they could just rotate right back over to this Baron. Flawless has the Void Rush up.
Yeah, and crucially, ESC doesn't have their big ultimates if SBENU decides to do a Baron. Onslaught of Shadows and Evo Plague are down, so is Tempered Fate, so is Curtain Call. So they're just gonna recall. I think they could have gone for Baron right there.
Yeah. I agree, but
I think they absolutely could have gone for Baron. They need all of those cooldowns to be expended here by ESC if they want to safely walk into the pit. There was the opportunity. They didn't take it.
Well, you can tell them after the game. They should have went for it. You can go back into a coaching position, Monty.
No, I'm done
I know
with
you've
that.
been missing that.
I have definitely not been missing that.
CLG could have used you today.
Could they? There's only so much help you can give as a coach, Achilles.
No, that's pretty evident. I mean, Six is pretty damn good.
Yeah, he is.
They're still
He is.
still having that struggle. So I don't know, but hey, at least we get a high playoff grand final match for NA. C9 versus TSM for the first time in a while.
I mean, I've seen that too much, honestly. I've seen that one too much.
See, I need C9 to win. I have a bet riding on this, so I need them to make Worlds.
Right, I think that's a bad bet you got there, Achilles.
I think it's pretty safe.
You think it's okay? Bold.
We'll see. We'll see if it pays off. We'll see if this pays off for SBENU though. Still grouped up around Baron. Just clearing out vision. And Elder Dragon now spawning in 5 seconds. So could see that one coming through. Flawless taking a hell of a lot of damage in the pit. Doesn't have his GA up for quite some time. So he's gonna have to hightail it out of there. Still has the Void Rush up. With this open inhibitor and bot, ESC are still in a pretty tight spot.
Crazy just needs to stay bottom. Like, he just needs to clear out the super minion waves. He has TP. The rest of his team should be able to handle the control of this Baron.
Vision now outside the pit. Aries can figure out how Crazy is sitting in bot, but the Baron's been started up. We'll see where he wants to TP in. Clearing out the wards inside of the pit. Baron down to half HP. Crazy still not teleporting in anywhere. Third call coming out. Tempered Fate comes in. That's going to lock up the Baron for the time being. The TP now being used by Crazy. ESC, they could just pitch it
so
and try
low.
to get this, but they're just going to let it reset instead of trying to commit to it. Last shot comes through, finds Flawless. We'll chunk him out for about 600, but look at this. The Super Creeps now knocking down the Nexus towers. SBENU, they acknowledge this. They know that they can just buy time. Let ESC have to back off. They should just, I mean, they could just commit right back in for the Baron, but looks like they want to set their sights on this top lane inhibitor.
And that was nice by SBENU. They baited out everything, but they're not going to commit to the inhibitor. They're going to go right back to the Baron instead. They baited out the TP, though, so now they can try it without the threat of Crazy. And somebody's still going to have to clear out those super minion waves in the end.
Yeah, and now the minions actually in onto that top inhibitor as well. We saw how that worked at bottom. Could just be another way of clearing out the inhibit top. That's going to be Onslaught of Shadows, Fears up Flawless and Soul, but they're still very tanky. Crazy going low, gets a big burst of healing coming through so far from that Hemo Plague. Nuclear not going to get stunned up, has the spell shield stunned into the wall there as Loken has to kite back into the back line. Soul still trying to stick to him like glue, but Ares is able to finish off Sasin. Now going to be looking for Flawless. If you can take out the Smiter, that could be that Baron coming in for ESC. The Hen's going low, Ares pitching around from the top, but just can't really commit in. They're able to find Soul eventually, had to pop the Guardian Angel and work him down. And ESC, do they go for this? Yes. There's still Super Creeps inside of the base. Looks like they're going to go ahead and commit. And now this is going to be the big turnaround for them as they've been down for so long in this game. This could be their window of opportunity to come back in. Flawless using the Void Rush on the backside of the pit. Could be looking for the steal if he's able to find this. It would be crucial for SBENU's victory. They're stopping the damage on the Baron. They're able to get it. He goes in over the wall, flashes out immediately, but ESC still with the chase. Still Ares very safe. They lock him up with a Tempered Fate for good measure, root him down with the Jhin, and ESC are still holding on to this game, down by 4,000 gold now.
That was really smart of ESC. So they knew their inhibitor was about to come back up, and there was only one super minion that was going to be on the Nexus turrets. They trusted that the turrets were going to be able to kill it, and by the time that one was dead, inhibitor would be back up. Easy to clear out those waves on the recall. So great call there from ESC, and that's the power of this team composition in the late game. It is incredibly difficult to beat them at 6 items with the composition that SBENU is fielding.
Really hard fought there around the pit. Very back and forth. Wasn't sure who was going to come out on top of that one, but ESC, they do persevere in the end. And now with this Baron buff, they can make up for this massive turret deficit that they've been in for so long. 8-3 now. And if they can pick up these 5 turrets, they will take a gold lead yet again. So like the third time in this game, Soul pushing forward, going to take a bit of damage. But ESC just not having enough to be able to burst out of Poppy. Flawless is still down for about 13 seconds. They get the mid-tier 2, but it doesn't look like they can do a whole lot else. Wave's not really prepped, starting to crash back, but they're well beyond the halfway point of the lane. So ESC going to move over towards this Elder Dragon. All members of SBENU are back up. All of the ultimates are available. They're not going to look to fight over this. It's just a Mountain Drake and a Cloud. SBENU can just sit back in the base and not get baited into a fight for the next minute and a half.
Yeah, so Elder Dragon now, we've seen it so far in the hands of SBENU. They've had the Elder Dragon and the Baron buff earlier in this game. Switches sides. It's one of the very few games I've ever seen where both teams have had a Baron and an Elder Dragon simultaneously.
Definitely an odd one, but look at that damage coming through onto the towers. To pop down the tower, that's going to be the inhibitor line being broken by ESC for the first time in this game at 55 minutes, just about. And they're going to be perfectly happy with that takeaway as they go ahead and retreat. The wave has been building up in both top and bottom. Triple cannon, quadruple cannon minions actually moving in. And that should be another tier 2 coming in here for SBENU and will actually net them a gold lead for the first time in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, gonna come through. They're probably gonna get another inhibitor. There are just too many minions to effectively clear out. Soul also not even gonna walk up here. He needs to get back immediately, so he has no time actually to clear the wave, but the Elder Dragon and,
Call opening up areas coming in from the top side. They are able to lock up Lehens with that Bard ultimate. Soul charging up the Keeper's Verdict, but is he going to channel it? No, he's not. Yet again, goes for the reset. ESC looks like they might be content. They're going to stick around. They want more than just the tower. They want that inhibitor if they can get it. Magical Journey's down, though. Their exit is going to be considerably more difficult for the time being. Wave pushing up and top.
Yeah, they should definitely stick around because they can get a turret for free, at least the tier 2 on the top side, just by poking and threatening right there. Now they actually give SBENU a chance to clear out that topside wave if they want.
Yeah, Nuclear is going to run up there. Looks like he may be able to make it in time. It's just down to half HP, so he'll be able to clear that out.
That's sloppy by ESC. They've been having trouble playing around the waves on sieges in this series, and that's another example of it. They could have just been patient. They could have just threatened the inhibitor continuously without ever getting in range to commit or to have SBENU pick them off and gotten an extra turret out of that at least. But not going to take the risk, even though there really wasn't much of a risk.
Well, pretty sure that was like the third time that ESC has done something very sloppy in this game. So bottom inhibitor still stands for SBENU. Top tier 2 going to be there as well, but ESC, Crazy's moving his way up there, so he's going to keep the lanes moving towards the inhibitors at the top side. So going to try to maintain that pressure, but we are at the 100,000 gold plus mark as ESC hits 101,000.
Credit to ESC though, they survived 2 Barons and an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, Elder Dragon, so. They've definitely been holding on for dear life, but again, they sort of created that situation for themselves by not doing anything about the first 2 Barons.
Absolutely, but ever since then, they've played around Nuclear. They've been able to get the necessary flanks and at least trade evenly on the team fights.
It's a good sign. They're at least able to deal with the problems that they have created for themselves.
Yes,
they don't just push it off on other people.
They don't just immediately die.
Oh, well, they're looking for Loken, who would very well die immediately if they were able to catch him with that knock-up from Flawless. They don't invest on the hunt, just going to be the speed boost from the Mantra Shield. Now ESC moving back into this bottom lane, have Super Creeps inside the base in mid. Create some pressure towards those Nexus turrets, going to be looking for that inhibitor. Yet again, Waves moving up in top, so this time they will be able to buy enough time to get that tower. They just need to play it right. Ares pushing forward, doesn't really have that prime of a target to go for as Nuclear has the spell shield, can mitigate the onslaught of shadows they're going to use on the hunt, get a double pop up on the Key attempt. Key just absolutely getting melted out. The Bard ultimate will keep him alive for a little bit longer, and it looks like he's able to exit on the backside. Crazy goes in deep, has to use the Sanguine Pull. Will be able to make it out with help of the Magical Journey. Now Loken in a bad spot. Flash forward by Soul. Loken gonna flash away, but he's slowed up. Gets the damage back into Sauce and can't find the kill. He gets him actually with a Deathfire touch at the end, but Soul answers the kill and will be able to make it out. It's a 1-for-1. 2 damage dealers down on either side. Ares, meanwhile, sticking around at mid. The inhibitor comes back up. The tier 2 goes down in top. But with the respawn of the inhib, oh, it's coming in now. It hasn't come back up yet, unless he just took it. Couldn't really see.
Looks like we are going to see here, at the end of the game, Loken and Sasson both dead by the time the next Baron comes up. So who is going to get the vision down first here and be able to control that pit?
I don't know, either way. 60 minutes just about to be on the clock. See the super creep still coming in, so I thought the inhibitor had respawned for a second. Looks like it was not so.
We'll be respawning very soon, though. ESC trying to set up in the bottom jungle for some reason. They just want this red buff. Not going to get it, though. Too much damage from Nuclear on a 6-item Sivir.
650 CS now for Nuclear in 59.5 minutes. So has been CSing quite nicely, and it helps out when you have those waves of super creeps constantly pushing in. So Baron respawns. Looks like ESC, they'll be able to get Scuttle Crab and some vision inside of the jungle, but definitely not comfortable going for this Baron anytime soon, especially with Loken running back from his death. Sasson's back up as well. Should just wait until he has a Ghost available so they can fight, but will not have the flash up, nor will Loken. So a lot of summoner spells down on the side of ESC that would be pretty crucial for them.
Oh, yeah. Nuclear, though, flash up. He's going to be much more confident. Get this late game stage. It is all about the summoner spell cooldown. So
they go in, they start this up. Starting to whittle it down. Looks like they're going to try to exit. Bard ultimate comes through. Not going to catch anybody because of the spell shield. Crazy comes in the backside. Gets chunked out. The Nethergrass comes in and Nuclear. He's going to find the first kill. Pop up. The Keeper's running onto Ares. Still has that Guardian Angel up. So he'll be safe to get a stun in onto Soul. And Lahenz will take a bunch of damage from the curtain call. But he still has a GA available on the Karma. So he's going to be perfectly safe. But right now it's all about ESC poking out, trying to buy enough time to dissuade this Baron away from SBENU so they can get Crazy back. He just got absolutely melted out.
You have to be so careful in that situation. They can collapse on your flank so fast. With a Sivir and a Karma, you cannot really flank with a Vladimir very effectively when they're able to do that. And it looks like we are going to see SBENU go for the smart move here, which is to try and completely break this base, take as many inhibitors as they can while they have this power play, but it's not for much longer.
Yeah, it's still just 30 seconds out from Crazy. Has the Ghost available and will have the home guards. Use the shield and on the hunt push forward. They will be able to work down this tower very quickly as that does fall, and the mid inhibitor should follow suit. Both of the other inhibitors are sitting naked. Ares now pushing into the backside, has the onslaught available, but who does he try to target? Lahenz is the lowest one, but still has the Guardian Angel, as does Flawless. And now looks like 2 inhibs just going to be going down inside the base of ESC. And SBENU, with that added pressure, can go ahead and back off and set up for this Baron yet again.
Well, they try and set up for this Baron at the very least. We may see a bit of a fight here. Flawless will be the one to recall. Could be a desperation Baron coming in for ESC. If they get the Baron, they still have a chance to win this game. But Crazy is down here on the bottom side. Doesn't have TB. He's clearing out waves. He's going to get caught.
Oh boy, here they go. Crazy going to get locked down. Pops the Ghost, but it doesn't matter. The Nethergrasp is there to keep him in place. And Lahenz will find the kill, and that might just be it. As SBENU moves down with these super creeps in the bottom side of the map. Zip back around. Looks like they don't want to commit for the base yet. Even with Vladimir dead for a minute, they could just rotate right over to this Baron and take it out.
I mean, ESC just had to go for the Baron there. They had to group up and try and force a fight. They still have all the AoE, but before the super minions really managed to start stacking up in their base, they had to get some sort of team fight going. Instead, Crazy tries to clear out a wave with no teleport. Big mistake. SBENU like they may be able to finally claim victory here.
I mean, no one from ESC is even close to this pit, so this is a guaranteed Baron now for SBENU. And with this added pushing power, they should be able to close out the game. I say should, but I really don't know because I've said this
been a mess
multiple times in this game already. It's been some sloppy League of Legends. We have literally 7 more games to go today.
Marta's a Zerat portal.
Okay, Key.
I don't think that's a good item right now.
All right, good job, Key.
I would have gotten the Frozen Heart.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, last inhibitor goes down. Third call opened up, looking for Sasson. Takes a bunch of damage. Tempered Fate not going to connect. More bullets coming through. Sasson will eat that 3rd bullet. 4th one comes through, not going to hit anyone though. There's a couple of the minions, but Crazy's back up. But all 3 inhibitors are down. Baron on SBENU. They're going to recall. Try this again. Void Rush right back into the mid lane here. Flawless. Try to keep the pressure applied there. But the next towers of ESC still untouched, and ESC are just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, Elder Dragon going to be the next target. 10 seconds until that one comes back up. Flawless, staring at a very empty pit right now. Salivating in anticipation. Delicious dragons. And maybe they can actually win the game once they get the Elder Dragon.
Alrighty, well, 3rd Elder Dragon here. I forget what the record is for that we have so far here in LCK. I want to say it's like 4 Elder Dragons.
It's probably that would be my estimate.
I think the longest game is like 79 minutes or something in that range, maybe 77 minutes. So 4 Elder Dragons seems entirely possible, but that's going to be 3 for us. We'll see if we make it to 4 and beyond. But SBENU have been handed every possible tool that they could use to close out this game. So if they're not able to do it, then God help us all.
I think it's pretty much impossible for them to lose right now, but
yeah. Well, Super Creep pushing in, empowered by Baron. Ares still looking for that pitch on the back side. But everybody is just so damn tanky on SBENU. They just can't pop anybody. The likelihood of fearing nuclear with that spell shield available is slim to none. Nexus tower is going low. Logan's trying to push up and clear this out, but the first one will fall. And ESC, they have to pull the trigger on something soon. The Rot Portal trying to keep the minions at bay in the top lane. That's just not doing a whole lot. Who would have thunk it? Down at half, Keeper's already thrown out, not really going to catch anybody. And just fine attempt, actually. Gracie goes low, gets into the cycling pull in time, and now Ares gets into the back line, onto Nuclear, but he's got too much damage, and he's going to pop that Guardian Angel. The Nexus now exposed. Flawless goes in, unburrows onto Loken. They're turning onto this Nexus, trying to get the damage in, but the Guardian Angel gets popped here on the wreck side. Nuclear still not able to target out the Nexus, but the Super Creeps are there. They'll take it out 14-14 in the end. 120,000 gold hit by SBENU. 4 Barons, 3 Elder Dragons.
that was some bad League of Legends.
And 66 minutes of hell.
Not much to say. I mean, really, SBENU should have been able to close that game significantly faster than they did. Both teams playing very, very scared around objectives when there were multiple opportunities to either go for the Baron or for the Dragon. Not even sure why the first Baron was given up by ESC. I thought they had a nice advantage heading into the mid game, but they let it slip away.
You know you're in a really awkward situation when you can't decide whether you'd rather have ESC relegated or SBENU welcomed into the LCK, because it's not going to improve the overall
I think
gameplay.
I don't know. I think if ESC just had a ward on that Baron, and the first Baron, that this would have been a very different game. And they did do a good job, at least in game number 1. It was a lot cleaner, but both teams, they're playing a very risk-averse play style, even when there are large windows and large opportunities for them to take an advantage.
We see Sasson yet again doing the majority of the damage on his team's side of things, as has always been standard. But we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have the conclusion of this. We'll see who is going into that losers match later on today.